So we will continue with the next stage of translation in eukaryote, which is the elongation process. The reaction is similar to that in prokaryotes. So in brief, you can see there is a recruitment of amino-acyl tRNA to the A site, then GTP hydrolysis, and there is an internal recycling process, then peptide bond formation, translocation. These are the same as we see already in prokaryotic system. The major differences are like the elongation factors are slightly different. That means the elongation factors are EF1A. That means eukaryotic elongation factor 1A, then 1B and EF2. The corresponding functions are the 1A will recruit the next amino-acyl tRNA GTP complex. Then 1B is a nucleotide exchanger to reform the 1A GTP complex. Then EF2 helps in the translocation process, which is homologous to the EFG in eukaryotes, prokaryotes. The peptide bond formation is also the same, catalyzed by the peptidyl transferase enzyme, but here it will be the 28S rRNA in the 60S ribosomal subunit. And here is the elongation process. You can see the cycle. There is the new tRNA with amino acid is coming into the A site, then there will be peptide bond formation, then followed by translocation. This image will give you an idea about the second amino acyl tRNA entry into the A site. Then this is the recycle pathway for the EEF1 with the help of EEF1A. And the peptide bond formation, of course, this is important. This is done by the peptidyl transferase, that means a ribozyme activity of the 28S rRNA molecule. Then translocation occurs. The ribosome will be moving, or the mRNA will be moving by a distance of 3 nucleotides, that means 1 codon distance. This causes the tRNA and mRNA to move together as they are already bound by the codon-anticodon interactions. So this causes the A site to be vacant, and the P site will be having a dipeptidyl tRNA and the E site with the empty or a deacylated tRNA. Okay. Now the next amino acyl tRNA will come to the A site, and by the next round of translocation, the tRNA which is at the E site will be excised out of the complex. You can see that, right? So meanwhile, the transpeptide bond formation, that means the peptidyl transferase reaction, will be happening, and that is done by the peptidyl transferase center in the 60S ribosomal subunit. So this process of elongation will continue until a stop codon which is encountered or which is positioned in the A site, right? So once the stop codon enter the A site, that signals termination. The same details are here also for termination in eukaryotes. We have the 3 stop codons, UAG, UGA and UAA, and the release factors are also having the 2 different classes, class 1 release factors and class 2 release factors. And the class 1 release factor include, or which consists only one release factor called ERF1, and the same ERF1 is responsible for recognition of the 3 stop codons, which is different from that in prokaryote. In prokaryote, class 1 consists of 2 release factors, RF1 and RF2, right, and which will be recognizing different codons. And ERF3, which is homologous to the RF3 in prokaryote, which is the class 2 release factor, will be responsible for the separation of the class 1 RF from the complex. Here are some more details about the class 1 RFs. These are the cytoplasmic factors with some conserved GGQ sequence. Usually are responsible for interaction with the peptidyl transferase center in the ribosome. Then in presence of this ERF1, the peptide bond formation usually, that means the peptide bond breakage usually occurs. That means the peptidyl transferase will transfer the polypeptide, which is already has grown, to a water molecule instead of an amino acid. That actually results in the termination or in the release of the polypeptide chain from the complex. Then there is an internal sequence NIKS which interact with the stop codon for a proper interaction with the mRNA. Right, and ERF1 not only binding to this ribosome and the mRNA, but also has another site for binding of ERF3, because ERF3 is a GTPase protein which require activation by binding to ERF1. So once it is activated, there is a hydrolysis of GTP, and that will be triggering release of the class 1 release factors, that means ERF1 from the ribosome. Okay, so there will be a complete dissociation of the complex. That means all the tRNAs, mRNA, the release factors, everything will be dissociated, and also the ribosome will be dissociated into their corresponding subunits 40S and 60S at the end of this stage. So this shows the entire process. And of course these ribosomes could be, we can reuse it for the next rounds of translation of any other mRNA molecule. And this is the overall process of translation. In the initiation, you can see there is a circularization and positioning of the AUG sequence at the P site. Then in the elongation, the addition of nucleotides. Then at the termination, then the polypeptide release and the separation, dissociation of the ribosome. And this is, again, we have already seen in the prokaryotic system, the energetics. Usually 4n will be the equation we can depend, where n is the number of amino acid. Okay, so by this we can wind up the presentation.